And welcome back to TBS Presents Sport Magazine on Radio. I'm John Daly. This segment is brought to you by Sellworthy. Need to tell your company's story digitally and online? Just go to sellworthy.com, and Sellworthy is spelled with only one L. It's hard to believe, but it's been 40 years since the miracle on ice when the U.S. Olympic hockey team, then amateur college players, beat the mighty Soviet Union for the gold medal in Lake Placid, New York. There is a new book out called The Making of a Miracle, the untold story of the captain of the 1980 gold medal winning U.S. Olympic team. It is written by the captain of the team, Mike Eruzione, along with Neil Boudet. And Mike Eruzione, one of the fun guys to be around, is with us. Mike, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for having me. And yeah, it's hard to believe it's been 40 years, but you know, as they always say, it's amazing how time passes so quickly.
It is. I want to get into the book. Now, you've got a great celebrity golf event coming up, the Mike Eruzione Celebrity Classic. It's coming up. It's in Boston. Tell us about that.
You know, it's funny. I started the tournament a couple of years ago along with a kid named Chris Federico. And Chris is involved with, it's called Cool Kids Campaign. And they deal with kids and families with cancer. And Ken Singleton has an event in Baltimore. Dan Jansen has one in Charlotte. And then they asked me about maybe doing one in Boston at my home course in Marblehead, Mass. And I said I'd love to do it. So this is the third year of my event. My event raises funds for the Cool Kids Campaign, but it also raises funds for my own charitable foundation called Winthrop Charities. And you know what? And you know, you guys are involved with a lot of celebrities, and they all have different golf tournaments and golf outings. It's fun to be able to have a fun day and raise some money for different causes. Obviously, this year is a little different. You know, the celebrities normally that I have that can come in, decided they couldn't make it, partly because of restrictions with travel. But, you know, I've got a lot of local celebrities here in Boston, Ray Bork, Gordy Kluzak, a lot of Bruins, ex-Red Sox players. So it's something I'm happy about, excited. We're still going to be able to put it on, despite the restrictions that we're all faced with.
Yeah, you still got some pretty good names there. I mean, that's not too bad for the restrictions, and of course, great having Boston as a sports town. Hey, can folks still sign up to be a part of the tournament?
You know, I'd love to tell you yes, but the restrictions that the governor has put on is 20 foursomes or fivesomes. So I hate to say I'm sold out, but anybody can always make a donation to the Cool Kids Campaign, and you can go online and find out what that's all about. Or you can make a donation to Winthrop Charities, which is my foundation. But yeah, you know what? You just have to follow the guidelines of what the state is requiring. So they said 20 to 21 foursomes or fivesomes because I'll have celebrities in each group. But I get it. I understand it. You know what? We all have to follow the guidelines, and we all have to follow the rules, and hopefully cut this, the what we're dealing with, and not have it expand.
All right, we were talking to Mike Eruzione, captain of the 1980 U.S. Olympic hockey team, the Miracle on Ice. Mike's celebrity golf event is coming up in the Boston area, August 29th to the 31st. Go to coolkidscampaign.org for more information. Mike also has a new book out called The Making of a Miracle, all about the 1980 Olympic win. Mike, people are going to love this book because of the detail of the hockey action you describe. I'm guessing even though it's 40 years, most of that is still like yesterday to you.
Yeah, in some ways, as far as the book goes, just to give you a sense of why I wrote the book along with Neil is, Neil Boudet contacted me a while ago, and he said he wanted to write a book about the 80 Olympic team 40 years later. And most of the guys in the team said, we don't want to do a book. And so we nixed that deal. And he said, do you want to write a book? And I went, no, Neil, I don't want to write a book. And then I thought about it. I said, you know what? I do. Let's do a book. And I wrote the book, and I think if anybody reads the book, you'll see in the book, I wrote the book for one reason and one reason only. I want my grandkids to know that Papa's life wasn't one day, one goal, one life, one moment. I want my grandkids to know a little bit about their great-grandfather, their great-grandmother. I want my grandkids to know that Papa, didn't just play in one event. And I wanted my grandkids to know that their family, their cousins, their aunts and uncles are very important in all of our lives. So I said this to Neil, And I said, Neil, I don't care if anybody buys the book. And he goes, you're not supposed to say that. I said, no, I'm serious. If they buy the book, they buy the book. But I want you to know the reason behind the book. And it's important for me to tell my story to my grandkids and maybe their kids someday.
Well, and that's great too, because you contribute so much to it. You just aren't just the captain of that team. You contribute an awful lot, especially as we've already talked about with your celebrity golf events and also your speaking engagements and your motivational speaking. So understandable. But if you can, take us back, because the way you describe what happened in that game to me was fascinating. Your game-winning shot was brilliant. It was tucked into the corner past that legendary goalie, Vladislav Tretiak. Can you describe it for us again, just really briefly, what happened on that winning shot?
Well, you know what? It was a play that just developed. Anybody that follows hockey knows that, it's a reaction sport. All of a sudden, things happen and nothing's planned, other than maybe on a power play you have a setup. But, the puck went in the corner and Mark Pavlich ended up getting the puck at the top of the blue line. I was coming over the boards off the bench, and Pav tipped it to me, and I was going towards the goalie, and in front of me was a defenseman. And I just, it's amazing. I'm not that smart a person, but it's amazing how quick your mind can think in brief seconds. And I just thought if the defenseman came at me, I was going to pass it. Billy Baker and John Harrington were going to the net off to my left, and I thought in my head, if the defenseman stays, I'll use him as a screen. And he stayed, and I shot it, and it went in and gave us the lead. But, I've said this over the years. I happen to have an opportunity to help our team when I could. But, Mark Johnson scored two, humongous goals. Jimmy Craig played extremely well. Kenny Morrow, our team defense. Anybody that plays sports understands that everybody has the opportunity to help and participate. And I was fortunate to help our team and capitalize on an opportunity for us to win.
I think one of the interesting things you talk about in the book is Coach Herb Brooks. You say he brought the team together by being the enemy of everyone. Explain that.
Well, Herb set it up that way. I mean, it was us against him. Part of the reason was, in 1979, 1980, there was a big rivalry, Minnesota guys and Boston guys, Wisconsin guys and Minnesota guys, and 90% or 80% of the team was Minnesota guys. And I think Herb set a standard from the beginning that it wasn't Minnesota, it wasn't Boston, and we got it from day one. It was the United States. When you put a jersey on, it says USA across the front. That's pretty special, and that's an incredible honor. So we weren't represented, Boston University, University of Minnesota, or Wisconsin, or Bowling Green, or Minnesota Duluth, where all the players were from. We were representing the United States. And Herb set the standard from the beginning. It was going to be us against him. And he stayed true to form from the beginning to the end. It was always going to be, we were going to be against him. And we formed the team and the mindset of our team because of that and what Herb wanted us to do.
Now, he came across as kind of a loner. And, of course, we lost him early. But was he a sad guy, or was that just kind of the outer perception of what Herb Brooks really was?
No, Herb made that decision. He was going to stay totally away from us. You know what's sad about it? Herb stayed true to form right up until the day he died. We had events, we had functions, and he stayed away. He never. He always said, "This is our team, not my team." And I think and I don't know how he did it. I don't know how he would have loved to have been close to this team. But he decided early on he was going to be aloof. He was going to stay away. He was going to coach. He was going to be somebody that we respected, somebody we trusted, and sometimes didn't like. But that's what coaching's all about.
Mike, was there anything in the book that you've revealed for the first time that maybe people didn't realize?
Yeah, I think in the book I talk about how I even ended up at Boston University. It's kind of surprising how I did that. I think how I ended up on the Olympic team, a strange circumstances of events that led to that. And obviously there's stories about my life, how I grew up, my family, My dad is a pretty good character, and I think in the book you'll see that my dad was pretty unique. But I grew up in a very close, tight-knit family. We didn't have any money. We had values. We had work ethic. We had respect. We had the qualities that my father instilled in us. My mother never worked. She stayed home and took care of 6 kids. My dad worked 3 jobs. It was, I think those little things, people know about the goal against the Russians. They know about the gold medal, but maybe they don't know about my life. And that's why I wrote the book. I wanted my grandkids to know that Papa's life wasn't one day or one moment.
And it is definitely a good one. We have been talking to Mike Eruzione. He was the captain of the 1980 U.S. Olympic team, known as the Miracle on Ice. He has a new book out called The Miracle, or I should say The Making of a Miracle. He also has a celebrity golf event that's coming up in the Boston area, August 29th through the 31st. If you want to know more about that, go to thecoolkidscampaign.org and you can get more information. Hey, Mike, thank you so much for being a part of this, and hopefully we're going to get out there and play some golf ourselves.
I'd love to do it. Thank you very much. Take care. Be safe.
Yeah, you too, my friend. Thank you. Be sure to enjoy the TBS Sports Network, a 24/7 streaming channel that features 60 years of classic and current TBS sports. The World Football League, NASCAR, NASL Soccer with Pele, IWA Wrestling, the LPGA and senior golf, regional PBA bowling, college basketball, and major college football bowl games. They are all on the TBS Sports Network. Watch for free at tbstvnetworks.com. When we come back, another Olympic legend, Dan Jansen.
The TBS Television Network, for decades your home for great sports TV, is back. You can watch 6 TBS sports channels now streaming on watchyour.tv. It's free and it's on the internet as well as on Roku, Android, and iPhone and iPad apps. Watch TBS Sports Network, TBS Classic Sports Network, TBS Turbo Sports Network, TBS Women's Sports Network, TBS Tavern Sports Network, and TBS Boxing Network. That's TBS Television Network. 6 free channels at watchyour.tv.